Broussard, just about ready for Chris Broussard to go to radio and take the summer off TV because his basketball stuff's almost ending. We're very close to the end of it. Adam Silver said, I don't like tampering because I can't enforce it. Makes us look stupid. I agree with that. And Adam Silver says, I don't want any more demanding trades. And my takeaway is you gas up the players, you give them ultimate power, they're going to flex that muscle and show ultimate power, and that's the reality of it. Well,
like you said, it's hard. It's almost impossible to enforce tampering rules. How are you going to stop players from demanding trades? I think there's only two ways. Number one, if you give them longer deals, 7-year deals like they used to. So if Paul George demands a trade and he's got 5 or 6 years left on his deal, it's like, dude, sit down, relax, okay?
Right.
Or you could just, and I heard Skip Bayless say this morning on Undisputed, which is kind of unrealistic, but if you just said once you sign a contract, you can't be traded on both sides. So the team can't trade you and the player can't demand a trade. You can't ask to be traded because you can't be traded. So, and nobody, I think, wants that.
Right.
So with shorter deals, this is going to happen. And first of all, there are only a handful of players that can demand trades.
Right.
If Julius Randle demands a trade, it's like, really? Relax, okay?
Yeah.
Just play. Second thing is this. You don't have to trade them. Paul George had 3 years left on his deal. I know he had 2 years and an option. So Paul George, I assume, wants to be a Hall of Famer. Paul George wants to be All-NBA, All-Star. What's he gonna do if the Thunder had said, Paul, we think we got a good team. We got Russ locked up for the next 4 years. You're locked up for the next 2, maybe 3 years. We can go out and add shooting or whatever we need to do, but we're not trading you. What is Paul George gonna do? He's gonna go out there next season and play his tail off. He's not going to be a dog because it's, he's first of all, he's competitive. He's got pride. And, all these things are in play. So teams don't have to trade you. Like this notion that, it could have turned into the Anthony Davis situation. Possibly, but you can also avoid it. Anthony Davis had less time left on his deal. And so I think
Anthony making, players get caught in this, and I feel bad for him. So Carmelo Anthony's like, I want out, and made it public, and then everybody crushed him. And then LeBron James didn't tell anybody, and we crushed him.
Right.
So Anthony Davis went a little bit in between. Anthony's like, all right, I got a year left, make a move. And it was ugly at first, and then 3 months later, it's all done. As a star player, the transition out, it's rough. Like, I will say this for the star player, because the NBA, let's be honest with you. You get a Kawhi Leonard, you have a chance to win a championship.
Right.
Like, there's a handful, like 7 guys in the league that change everything. If you're one of those 7 guys, I want to move out. Most guys say I want out, nobody cares. Julius Randle says I want out of New York. Nobody's losing sleep.
Right.
But all the fans know, and everybody knows, there are about 7 guys in the world, it may be 4, that if they leave your franchise, historically, you're toast. Lou Alcindor leaves Milwaukee. You can't get equal value. And I do think, so I think if I was a star player in the basketball, like a Kawhi Leonard guy, and I was going to leave, I've thought about this before. I could take 3 routes. Tell nobody, pack my bags, and say, I want to go play Los Angeles, bye. I probably wouldn't do that.
All right.
I could give my team all sorts of heads up and get booed at the arena. I probably wouldn't do that. I think what I would do is right before I would go to my front office and say, I'm not going to make this public if you don't. I want out. This is what Kareem did.
Right. And they work together. Yep.
Let's work together for 6 months and make it happen. By the way, that's what Paul George did, Chris.
And that's what Anthony Davis did. They went to Dell Demps and talked about we would like a trade to the Lakers. And then Dell went and tried to talk directly to Anthony Davis and try to convince him to stay around the agent Rich Paul's back. So that's how this kind of got messy. Here's the other thing players need to consider. There are some players that are in a great situation. Well, let me just put it this way. It doesn't work out for all players. Dwight Howard's career was ruined when he demanded a trade out of Orlando. He's never been the same. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer now. Now, a lot of people think what he did in Orlando makes him a Hall of Famer.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't. So he ruined his career. Chris Paul demanded his way out of New Orleans, he's still a Hall of Fame player and had a great individual career, but winning-wise, it hasn't helped. He essentially, he was a free agent, but kind of forced his way out of the Clippers. And now he's not happy playing with James Harden in Houston.
So,
you know, Carmelo goes from Denver, a Western Conference finalist, to New York. It didn't work out for him basketball-wise. So a lot of these players need to look at it, too, and say, okay, is this really the right move for me? So I think it's fine the way it is. Everybody's not demanding trades, but just let it go the way it is.
By the way, Kawhi, we find this morning, let me read this to you.
3-year deal?
Yeah, Kawhi signed a 3-year deal with a player option in the 3rd year. It aligns with Paul George.
Right.
Both players have the ability. So if I'm the Clippers, I like this if I'm the Clippers, and I'm for this. The players sign 2-year deals guaranteed, got to stay for 2, 3rd's your player option. So the bottom line, it puts pressure on the Clippers to make sure it works, got to treat the player well.
Right.
But you do get him for at least 2 years, and probably I doubt they would leave if this team will win a bunch of games.
Well, remember, too, in his 10th year, which would be 2 years from now, he's eligible for a bump because he'd be in the 10-year. The way the NBA salaries work, in your 10th year, you can get a larger contract. So that could play a role as well. You know, people have already thrown out, wow, with LeBron's contract ends, you know, with the Lakers, you know, Kawhi, you want to become the king of L.A.? How about if you win a ring or 2 with the Clippers, and then say LeBron doesn't deliver the Lakers a ring, then you go to the Lakers and deliver a ring? I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves. But all of that is in play. Kawhi is a shrewd operator.
Yeah.
Everybody's taking him for granted, you know, underestimated because he's so quiet. And people have thought he's just simple. But in reality, you see, this summer, he is cunning. I mean, he hardly talks, but obviously he's a heck of a recruiter. And he went after everybody. He went after KD, Kyrie, you know, Jimmy Butler, Paul George. And now with this contract, I mean, he has handled things very well.
Well, you know,
and I think this whole summer helps his image.
Well, it's funny. Years ago, somebody said to me, what do you make of all the hate mail? I said, I don't worry about hate mail. I don't worry about people who advertise they hate me. It's the quiet guy I worry about who jumps me on the corner after a few beers. I never worry about the loudmouth guy. Yeah, I hate you, I chase you down. It's the quiet people. By the way, all these spies in the world, we got them. Russia's got them. Everybody's got spies. You know what what's the first thing you do when you hire a spy? They want them to look like the public.
Right.
Glasses, ruffled hair, not over. You never find a spy that looks like Giselle Bundchen, right? They always look like an accountant. And they're missing
Well, in the movies, they always do.
Well, that's what when you hire spies, you want somebody that kind of moves into the fabric of society. So Kawhi is like the quiet guy. He's moving around all the pieces. All right, stick around. Westbrook, what's he going to do? Plus, you're a football guy. I got a theory on something. Chris Broussard, don't go anywhere. It's a hurt.